Good day. God bless you. Welcome back, guys. My name is Zach Attack, and this is episode 61 in the Healthy, Wealthy, Happy series. Psalms chapter 34, verse 1. I will extol the Lord at all times. His praise will always be on my lips. Motivational quote. Just one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. And those are both great words of wisdom today. Praise the Lord. Do everything for Him. Do this for Him. Be fit, healthy, active for Him. For the Lord, serve Jesus Christ, confess your belief in Him before man, and He will confess you before the Father. Okay, I'm 72 hours into my fast, my water fast. Had a lot of, man, I was like drained really, really bad today. So yesterday I told you like I was pretty weak, like feeling like I'm on like day 3 or 4. Well, today was like I'm on day 4 or 5, it felt like, and it was only day 3. And I think I know why. One, because I hadn't kept on my water enough and I drank some water and I felt a little better. But two, I just ate so much better on my last 4 days of eating with the low. Cheers, Angel. Thank you for getting on. Hit that, smash that like button. I ate so much better on my last 4 days of eating with those 400 calorie meals and spacing them out and not overeating and not eating any processed food, no sugar, no snacks, no candy, nothing. I ate all salads and eggs and meat and melons. I just ate healthy, really healthy food the whole 4 days. So I think that just caused me to be in ketosis a lot quicker. Like within the first 48 hours, I was like no carbs, no glycogen was left in my body. There was no sugar stores left in my liver or muscles. So I was already feeling pretty weak because it takes your body sometimes to transition. I thought of you when I put this on, brother. I got like even a tighter black one. I was like, hopefully he's on today. That's funny. Thank you so much. Um, so I wish I would have dug out my blood glucose meter and showed how low my blood sugar is, because I bet you it's on the low edge of normal. You don't have to worry about it going too low if you have pre-diabetes. If you're not on diabetic medication, I mean, your issue is you have high blood sugar. So you don't ever have to worry about having too low blood sugar as long as you don't take any medication. If you're on medication, then you need to figure it out before you fast, because you can't do it. Those shots and those pills are countering your eating. If you're not eating, they're just going to counter the blood sugar in your blood, and you're going to have none left. So yeah, like I said, I felt drained today, but I got through it. I pulled out an old trick, and I jokingly brought it up to one of my coworkers. So I had drank my tea, I had drank some water, and I was just wiped out, drained. And this was probably getting to be more like 4 or 5 p.m. I worked a 14-hour shift today. So that was another thing that kind of drugged me out. And I was just feeling wore out. My job is not too physical, but I walk around a lot and just taking tests on products and stuff. Anyway, my little back pocket secret was to go get a cup of like a 8-ounce, 10-ounce cup of like a coffee cup with hot water, and then just put some salt and pepper in it. And I sipped on that just for like 15 minutes until it was gone, and just getting that extra sodium and even that pepper flavor, just kind of. And pepper has a small amount of calories, but I probably ate like 1 or 2 calories of pepper. So not going to affect a fast in any way. You could probably, it's been estimated, maybe even up to 50 calories. Don't eat when you're fasting. I'm not saying do that, but I'm just pointing out, as far as being in autophagy, which is an ongoing thing in your body anyway. You don't have to fast to be in autophagy. It's just way more advanced autophagy, which is the breakdown and rebuilding of your body. That's happening constantly. I mean, obviously, if it wasn't, you'd be dying. Your body's always breaking down protein and rebuilding protein every day, whether you're eating or not. It actually stops doing that when you're fasting. But the autophagy that peaks out so great at the 72-hour mark in fasting, where I am right now, is that any foreign invaders in my body are just going to get broke down and destroyed. Any kind of like tumorous or cancerous cell or like I said, my skin condition, just completely. I was rubbing my knuckles again today. Like, my God, they're like smoother than they've been in my entire life, and I just had a bad rash on both hands. which is an autoimmune deficiency, an autoimmune problem going on though. So on a more positive note, I'm feeling like, say, I was struggling today. Like, I was actually contemplating, like, am I going to eat a little snack when I get home just to feel better so I can get through another 24 hours and be done with this fast? And then by the time I got home, I worked 14 hours, so I didn't shower at work. I just showered once I got home, took a nice long hot shower, and then my cold shower at the end. And I got out and I busted out my cinnamon, my essential oil, and just smelling it. It's like satisfying to me. It's like eating. Like the smell of food is like a big portion of the joy of eating. And I'm not trying to like overemphasize, like, oh, I'm tricking myself. And it's like, no, I'm not tricking myself. I know I'm fasting and I want to be fasting. You want to be, let's say, you're going to suffer. Cold showers are suffering. Fasting is suffering. But are you going to suffer as a victim or as a warrior, as a hero? There's the victim, the villain, and the hero in every story. And it's like, don't be the victim in your own story. And of course, don't be the villain in your own story. Those two things are all anybody wants to be. They want to be the hero in somebody else's story. They want to have this influence over other people. And I got a little hair sticking up, guys. Should we just emphasize it at this point? Let's just get it up there. People want to be the hero to somebody else so bad, but they never even contemplate to be the hero to themselves. And men and women both do it in mass, play the victim, something that happened 5, 6, 10, 15 years ago. It'd be like if I was on here just constantly complaining about my ex-wife and my marriage falling apart and paying child support for 15 years. I mean, my youngest son was 1 when we got divorced. I was like, I have 17 years of child support to go. Like, hey, we're down to like 5 years, and I don't mind. I never minded paying it the whole time anyway. They're my children. I wanted to support them. I was willing to do all I could. So I hadn't done the salt and pepper water yet on all these fasts. This is 96-hour fast number 7, and I hadn't had to do it, because I know it's a little back pocket trick that I can use to get through the day. I mean, for one, when you're feeling that weak, like I was standing up, I kept doing it too quick because I'm at my desk and I'm putting in information on my computer, and then I get called to go do something, and okay, I'll be right there. And I stand up too fast and I take 3 steps and I'm like, oh, slow down. Well, the salt really helps that. It gets your blood pressure back up and gets some water in there. And then that sodium helps you retain the water better. So after I sipped on that cup of salt and pepper water, and man, it really was delicious. I'm almost like I should do that in my eating days. Like, it's so yummy. Why would it's 2-calorie snack? But I felt a lot better after that. I had like 5 hours, 4.5 hours of work left after, and I was feeling so weak. And then I got a little busy, and then I felt good enough to go do all the busy work I had to get done, and the rest of the day just kind of flew by. So um, I don't feel right now that I have an hour worth of content in the back of my head, but yesterday I was like, that's it. I'm just going live. I'm going to do what did I say it was called? A no prep video. And I ended up talking for 90 minutes, longer than any video I've ever had. So, I guess you never know what's going to pop in my head, and what energy we can take forward into the future. Okay. My YouTube was giving me a little hassle there. Never know what's going to pop in my mind, and we're learning new behaviors as we go. We're learning what works. Look at like I said, I did the six 4-day eatings. I want to say 6 weeks, but it's 8-day increments, but let's just say 8 weeks, okay? 8-day periods. Before I found out the diet that was working the best. And that was when I busted out the chips and I said, okay, let's keep it down to like 2,000. In the back of my mind, though, I'm keeping it under 2,400 just so I don't want to be tricky to anybody, including myself. I got the 20 chips that all have the 100 on them. And then I just count 100 calories at a time. And, like I said, I eat the 400-calorie meals, sometimes less. Like I said, when I first wake up, I'm not really hungry. And I normally don't eat when I first wake up, like in that first half hour. Like, I normally don't eat for several hours. Sometimes, I don't eat. I'll get up at 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning, like if I'm off work, and not eat till noon or 1. That's like normal. That's kind of a normal routine for me that I've developed over the last few years, maybe probably 3-4 years now, maybe since like 2019. I've been kind of shifting that way when I learned about intermittent fasting and how that it's really not a big deal to get up and eat some big breakfast. It's not bad, but it's not that big a deal. You can easily skip breakfast and lunch if you have body fat to lose. And that's a good way to do it, especially if you can stay super low carb the rest of the day. If you eat your first meal at noon and eat super low carb, high healthy fat, and just eat like 2 meals and maybe a snack, like eat a good meal at noon, eat a good meal at 4, and then eat like a small, like I'm saying, like my 400-calorie meal at like 8, and do that every day. And all whole food, not whole grain, but whole foods. Not all whole grains are all that cracked up to be. I was reading more about white rice, some videos. I had read a long time ago, but I had never heard anybody else say it, that white rice is actually better than brown rice. It wasn't even stated that way, but it was just saying that the hull on the rice of brown rice is why it's brown rice, because it still has like the hull around the white rice inside the hull. And that's why it doesn't cook as well. It's like it's actually terrible for you. And I finally found some more, and that was a long time ago. And I was like, well, that might be true. That might not be true. But it got me to quit eating brown rice a long time ago. Like I said, I probably have 200 pounds of white rice in my apartment right now. Like, I've just stocked up on rice, and it's just a cheap, easy meal. You can throw it with anything, even for breakfast, like 2 eggs over easy, over even a sunny side up on top of a cup of cooked rice and with some salt and pepper. I mean, boom, that's an amazing, delicious, healthy meal. Stirred fried with some vegetables, some chicken and rice with some mixed vegetables, and then some hot sauce, and just toss it around in a pan. It's just so good. Anyway, I saw another video today about that, and I was like, yes, it just reaffirmed it. Like I said, I don't eat that. I don't buy bread. Maybe once every few months, like before I started the YouTube channel and wanted to just, I got a note over here: forever fit, forever young. And that's a big point of the channel too. Is not that I'm not saying do anything I'm doing as far as what am I physically doing. I'm saying be encouraged and do what I'm doing mentally. Read the motivational books, read the Bible, get your mind straight. Go to counseling if you have to. Not if you have to. It's not a big deal. Go talk to a therapist. There's something called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. I've read some books about it, and I've done it on my own, kind of, but it's really a therapy that you need to see a therapist, and so that you're not diagnosing yourself. They can say, do this, and then you do it, and you take notes on your own, and you go back, and then they can help you ascertain what it all means, and get more out of it. But even without seeing a therapist, it's helped me a little bit. Like, I'm not going to say it's like some super huge, like that's the reason I've turned this around. And speaking of turning it around, we all know, if you've been following along, that I lost the 14 pounds in the first week, then 3 pounds, then 3 pounds, then 2 pounds, and I gained 2 pounds. And last week I lost 3 pounds. I may or may not have snuck and stepped on the scale when I got out of the shower just now. And I am for surely going to be under 247 by tomorrow after work. But maybe not as much as I thought, but I'm still heading down in the right direction. So if I lose another 3 pounds, like I said, I haven't lost more than 3 pounds in any 8-day period since that first 4-day period, which flushes you out. And that's why it was 14 pounds. It's completely, it was really more like 4 pounds. The rest of it was just all water weight and just flushing out all the extra food in your stomach because you overate, and that's how you were bloated up to 270 in the first place. So, we could almost say -4, -3, -3, -2, +2, -3. So it'd be nice to get a couple more -4s in here. But just looking projected wise, then I'm definitely not going to hit 218 by April 1st. And I'd be fine with that if I hit -3 or more every week here on out. But don't that is a and the reason I'm not shifting my goal, because I'm still going to be 218, just maybe not by April 1st, is that it's a healthy pace. One of my last notes here is that I'm really feeling like I got this pace down, like this routine. I don't feel like I'm crash dieting, even though I am fasting for 4 days at a time. To me, that's not so crashy. It's just healing my body, and it's healthy, and it's raising my testosterone and my growth hormones, and giving me big man muscles so I can pump iron in the gym. I didn't want to go to the gym today, and I was like drained. And then a buddy of mine came in my lab, and he got me all pumped up. And I was like, God dang it, you got me wanting to go to the gym again. And then I forgot I had to stay late and work 14 hours today. So I didn't leave at my normal time, and there was no way I was going to the gym at 8:30 at night. I'm normally back home by then by a long way. So let's check on So guys, oh my God, the subscribers just blew up since yesterday. Let me go back to yesterday's notes and see where I was. I almost don't want to say it. I was at 669 subscribers yesterday, right? Because I had 666 for a while there yesterday. I was a little nervous. So 670 when I went after my stream was over yesterday. 670, 770 would be 100. I'm at 818. It's like 148 subscribers. It's crazy. I'm at 818 here. And sometimes you lose subscribers too, so sometimes you get a little rush. But the drive to, what should we set for a goal of total subscribers by the time I retire? We got like between 5 and, I suppose I could work till I'm 60. I'm 50. I'll be 51 in about 5 months, 4 months. Yeah, 4 months, 3 months, 3.5, 4 months. So I might work till I'm 60 at the latest, but really 56. I'd like to be fully retired away from my job anyway that I work at now, because I'll be done paying child support when I'm 56 and a half, something like that. Work for another year, even say 57 or 58. Got some, if, utilize that 401k if you have it at work. A lot of places you got to work there for a year and then you could start it. And if they have matching, I mean, at least get your match. If you have like contribute 4% and they match 4%, I mean, that's doubling your money, dude. You could throw it in the most conservative investment out of all your options with your 401k and double your money. But probably a better idea to just get it in the market. And if you're young, and if you're my age, you might want to be a little more conservative. But I still kind of throw some Hail Marys here and there. I'll try to get a lump sum built up in a safe, maybe even like almost like a savings account, let's just say, and then find a good investment. Like I said, I made a pretty good move with a stock like a month and a half ago, and it's literally up like 30%. So it was, having the resources to do so. Just talking about the wealthy part of the healthy, wealthy, happy. So guys, like I said, 148 subscribers since yesterday. Since I was live at this time yesterday, like I kept looking at my phone at work today and it was just blowing up. And I have the same ads out, but they've never get more than like 10 or 15 or maybe 20 subscribers a day at the most. So to get 150 is I don't know how that happened. It's I think I looked at a couple videos that are not advertised, and they got a ton of subscribers. Like you can see which video they watched and that they subscribed from. And one of them had like 17 subscribers and the other one had like 40, 50 or something. It was just like, I don't know. I think the algorithm sometimes, if somebody looks at something and they hit like and the next person looks in it, it can take off for a little bit and then cool back down. So I think we're cooling back down now. But we got a little rush. So welcome to the new subscribers. Thank you guys for joining the team. Please consider, commenting and giving some of this advice a try. Go back, hit that watch list. what is the name of it? The Healthy, Wealthy, Happy series. You got to watch them all. Um, there's 61 videos on there. Some of them hour and a half long. Some of them 5 minutes long. So what? Start from the beginning, or if you want to start from episode 12, is where I'm on my first day of a fast. The videos before that were all just talking about baby steps and quitting. I quit smoking and I quit drinking coffee. Which, by the way, we're way into it. I haven't had a drop of coffee or a puff of a e-cigarette. I was still using the e-cigarette off and on. Haven't had either one. Like I said, as far as drugs and alcohol, I do zero drugs. Not even I don't even take like over the counter. I don't even aspirin, Tylenol, any of that stuff. I don't take any of that. I've drank one beer so far this year. It's what is it? February 7th. So I don't know. I don't think that classifies as an alcoholic anymore. I am an alcoholic. I'm recovering, and I'm to the point where I'm fully recovered, but it's one of those things that you always want to keep on your mind. Like you were a mess of an alcoholic, dude. So let's make sure that doesn't happen again. And so I'm keeping it under control. I think I jokingly said that I'm gonna see if I can drink less than a 12-pack of beer this year, and I mean I'm on pace already. But I'm sure I'll enjoy a few beers here and there throughout the year, and not a big deal if you like to enjoy a little alcohol here and there. I really love red wine, dry red wine, sweet red wine, white wine, really hoppy beers. Those are all delicious. Look at me on 72 hours into a fast, and I'm talking about wine and beer. That's funny to me because I do enjoy a alcoholic beverage on occasion. It's hilarious. I really should drink one on stream one of these nights, and like on my fourth day when I get home from a fourth day fast, because I eat on the that fourth day 96 hours in. So tomorrow night, theoretically, I guess I could have a beer or a glass of wine or something. And just to watch me, because it's only going to take, 10 minutes, 15 minutes if I'm sipping on it while I'm talking. And you will see, obviously, how buzzed up I get off of one. Just thinking about it makes me a little buzzed up. I'm going to smell my cinnamon again. It's just so strong. I mean, if you had stinky feet and you put a drop of this on your feet, I mean, there's no way a foot odor is going to get through freaking pure cinnamon essential oil. Oh, it's almost like you just got a big hit of relief, and you're just like, I'm good to go for a day. What is the other one I used to? There's some that are. This one is not even cinnamon is not even promoted as something you should inhale, but I think it's rosemary essential oil. I used to when they first started making you wear masks at work and shit a few years ago. I put the inside of the mask so that if I'm going to be limiting my oxygen intake, which is terrible for you, it's definitely weakening your immune system, and you're not getting as much oxygen with the mask on. I was like, if they're going to make me do that, then at least I'll have some essential oil in there that is as boosting my body instead of making it weaker and more susceptible to viruses. So get your sunlight, take your cold showers. I was thinking about it today, like because I didn't shower at work. I showered at home. I worked 14 hours and I got, so I didn't want to be there another 10 minutes showering. So I got home and I'm taking my long hot shower, and I was like, oh, I think I'm going to skip my cold shower. And I was like, what? Like, how did that thought even enter my mind? I've literally never skipped it since the first day I started doing it. Like, it's like I said, going on 2 years ago. So of course I didn't skip it, and it still kind of sucks, but you're just more used to it. Like, but it's like runners say, like, you never aren't suffering when you're running. Like, marathon runners I don't care how good a shape they are hurting at the end, and they just will say you get better at suffering. Like, you just, it's like the first run you go on, you run around a block and you're dying, and it's like, okay, well, in the 500th run you go on, you run a marathon and you're dying. Like, it never really changes that you're struggling and suffering. But that's why I stated earlier, you're going to suffer as a victim or suffer as a warrior. Suffer as a winner, suffer I mean, look at the Bible talking about suffering. This is not something that is foreign to the human existence. Jesus Christ did a little bit of suffering for us as well, if we want to take a broader picture of how much we're actually suffering, especially if you live in America like I do. I mean, we do almost nothing to contribute to our own survival. I go to work, I pay my bills. Have you chopped wood? Have you built a shelter? Have you hunted? Have you trapped? Have you, like, for survival instead of, oh, I go fishing. Yeah, for entertainment, you know. You throw a case of beer in the cooler and go fishing. Like, yeah, you're surviving, buddy, with your $45,000 bass boat. We do nothing. Even the poorest people in America are among the wealthiest people throughout human history. I got a little sidetracked there. I don't mean to. Not trying to bash. I'm trying to get people to appreciate what we have, appreciate the smaller things in life. You don't need all this blah, blah, blah stuff. I got it boiled down. I mean, the reason all these games are on this shelf is because I want them. That's like, okay, I've decided I'm going to keep my board games. I have like several dozen, I don't know, 50, 60, 70. I've never counted them. I got a bunch of all kinds of just, adult, complicated, types of board games. Got books, tons of books. I'm not throwing my books away. Not yet, anyway. I just, there's no way. A lot of books on different subjects, a lot of religion and philosophy, and a lot of chess. I was way into chess as a younger guy. Probably 20 or 30 books just on chess. A lot of self-help books, motivational books, old classics. Here, let's bust one out like I brought up a bunch of times. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That is an amazing book. Just kind of gives you that idea. Yeah, I'll give just a quick overview of it. Is Robert Kiyosaki. Is he Japanese American? I think he's a Japanese American. Wonderful dude, awesome dude. He's got YouTube videos and anyway, this was this his first book? This was either his first book or one of his first books, but I think it might be his very first book. But just to summarize the story without telling his whole story personally, it's just the rich dad and the poor dad. Is the rich dad was his friend's dad, and the poor dad was his own dad. And his own dad, had a job like I do and went to a factory and complained about taxes and, whined about the government. And the rich dad, his friend's dad, was like an entrepreneurial type investor, business owner, and that was the concept that he learned as a young child. And he put it into practice as he grew up. And he started off in like, I think one of the first businesses he had was like a sunglasses hut in California, and like made $1 million overnight and lost it and, made it again and invested in different things. But the idea is, like if you can make $1 million, if you can lose $1 million, it means you made it. And if you made it once, you can make it again. And, he's a great story. That book is one of my favorite financial books. I haven't read it in a long, long time, but I probably haven't read it in 20 years, 15 at least. And this happens to be the other classic I've talked about a lot, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This is a gold mine. I have talked about this book to so many people, and I've even thought that this should be standard reading material to graduate high school. You should have to read this book and do a in-depth, 1,500 word book report, or maybe more like a just stand up and say what you got out of the book to prove that you read it. It's a little there's one chapter that might not be so teenager friendly, but I think by the time you're 18 and a senior in high school, that you should be able to read this book without any negative effects. I mean, watch the news nowadays. It's the most negative effect you could have on your body, have on your mind possible. So just where I flipped it open was exactly where I was talking about the mystery of sexual transmutation, sex mutation. And it's talking about, this particular chapter is just talking about the drive you have as a young man for that. And as you get older, you can learn to turn that drive into something else. Say it in Spanish. We don't need that one right now. See You at the Top. That's an old. Oh, this book I highly recommend as well, and I've brought it up. Jordan Peterson, I brought him up, and Michaela Peterson, his daughter, their podcasts, their books. I actually watch more of Michaela Peterson's podcast now than I do Jordan Peterson's, just because I started off with Jordan Peterson and I watched all his videos, and I've read this 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos. It's his first big book. He had another book, Maps of Meaning. He's a clinical psychologist, and he was kind of grew up as more of a left-wing guy and kind of became more of a right-wing. I'd say more center guy now, just maybe just right of center, or maybe even he's definitely sympathetic on the left cause in some regards. Like he's very understanding human being, and I think he's on the Daily Wire now. If you know what that is, I've never seen it, but I'm aware of it. It's like a podcast news show, whatever, on YouTube and other services. I don't even know what it's on, but I know he's on there now, and just trying to change the world in a positive way, really. And I've said it before, and well, the world needs more Jordan Petersons. I've said that, and really, I think a part of why I started this video series, this YouTube channel, the way I did, as far as just go for it, Zach. Just you're always worried about failing. You're always worried about you're gonna look stupid. Zach, you don't know how to edit videos. You don't know how to. I don't even know how to make a thumbnail, people. I have I have 818 subscribers on my channel in 2 months, and I don't even know how to make a thumbnail or edit the videos in any way. I hit go live, I hit end stream. Done. But I've been talking to some people about it, especially coworkers and stuff. One of them even ran into it, was just on YouTube at home, and my one of my ads. Well, I only have one ad out, but it came on, and he was like, "Oh my god, I saw your ad," and I was like, "Well, did you like, share, and subscribe? Hit that notification bell?" And they just started laughing. So I don't think they did, but your friends aren't going to be any help to your success anyway. The complete strangers are going to support you a lot more than any family or friends or anybody ever will. So let's embrace that, let's embrace the love of, if you've watched all my videos, I think you should be able to ascertain by now that I don't have a hateful bone in my body. I don't have a racist thought in my mind. I don't have a sexist thought in my mind. I love women. I love all races of people. I mean, my Christian values and Christian beliefs have that I believe what I believe, like I don't believe there's more than, a man and a woman. And if you hate me for that, that's on you, man. Like, I don't hate you for believing something else, but you hate me for believing something else. So I'm the one that's wrong. Like, the one that's full of hate is the one that's suffering. So just quit suffering and quit hating. People can have their own opinions. People can have their own belief systems. You're basically saying, I can't believe what I want to believe if I have to believe what you believe. You're trying to I'm not trying to force my beliefs on you. It's like, don't force your beliefs on me. But anyway, my point is that I have no ill will in my heart or mind for any human being on earth. Even all the people that I disagree with significantly. Like there's friends at work that I talk to that I know have very passionately opposite views than I do about a great variety of topics. And we still chat and we stay friendly and we keep it civil. And I even, one of my African American friends at work, I'll say his first name is James. And he's a very intelligent young man. He's in his 20s. I think he's about 28. College guy, played football, ripped, big beast of an athlete. I always joke him, he could just crush me. He's so huge looking. But we debate topics and we can smile and we could shake hands at the end and we could say, hey, we disagree about this, but I'd love to talk about it more. And as my channel grows, I'm hoping to interview people. I'll probably be on Joe Rogan eventually, but hopefully it's not too weird, and have Jordan Peterson on my channel. But we're probably looking out, 18, 24 months, before that happens. We gotta get way more than 818 subscribers. It's funny because like I compare it to like I started running. I downloaded my Couch to 5K app, and as far as my YouTube channel's growth, that's where I'm at. I'm on the couch and I just stood up and I went running a couple times and now I got 800 subscribers. I mean, there's subscribers out there with, multiple millions of subscribers or YouTube channels with multiple millions of subscribers that you have never heard of. And it's funny that the internet is just so huge and there's no limit. There's no, it's almost like the US dollar, right? Like there's just no limit to the amount of money you can make. Like if somebody, I just, like becoming a millionaire in America, let's say, like, is there a limit to how many there can be? It's like, I'm telling you, there's literally no limit to how many there can be because money is just so overprinted and undervalued and has no backing. It's not like on the gold or silver standard, you can just print as many, people can just make money. You could just make it up. If you think about like buying a stock for $10 and then it goes up to $100 and then you sell it, where did that extra money come from? Like the stock market has more money in it than the whole world has ever printed in money in the history of the world, in all the money combined, all the different, all the different currencies around the world. If you add them all up, they don't even add up. The amount that's been printed, that's in circulation, doesn't add up to the amount that's even in American stock market, New York Stock Exchange. So kind of interesting, right? So that's why I'm not like going crazy about the wealthy portion of happiness, because the last word is happiness. Healthy, wealthy, happy. Happy is a goal. Like, you're not going to be happy if you're unhealthy. Well, obviously, you're going to be laying on your deathbed much, much, much younger, decades and decades. In my brother's case, 32 years before the national average. In my mother's case, 15 years before the national average of life expectancy. You're not going to be happy to die young. People, there's a term, and I know you've heard it, fat and happy, or, people are eating junk food and it's like, I'm just living a happy life. I don't care. You're fasting. I'm not even talking to them, but they got to defend their attitude towards an unhealthy lifestyle. An unhealthy lifestyle does not make you happy, and it never will. It's not making you happy while you're doing it. It's not making you happy right after you did it. And it's long term. It's like I talked about the habits in the earlier videos before I even started the fasting and the 4-day eating and the 4-day fasting. I'm talking about developing habits. And develop the positive habits that are good for you tend to not be immediately rewarding. And I gave a bad example of like snorting a line of cocaine gives you the most immediate reward you could possibly have, right? And that's probably one of the most negative things you could ever do, especially if it's a habit. Eating a bowl of ice cream, it's delicious right now, it tastes good right now. Your mind actually starts releasing the dopamine and the insulin and the saliva before you even eat it. It's when you start thinking about eating it, you start getting a little high, and then you want a bigger high, so you got to eat that. And then long term, like 20 minutes later, when the bowl's gone and you're putting it in the sink, disgusted with yourself, but also a week later, a month later, a year later, when it's a habit to eat like shit. You can eat a bowl of ice cream. I'll eat one on camera one of these days. I haven't ate one this year yet, but maybe I will soon, just to say, hey, you can eat some unhealthy food like that as a treat once in a while. But what is it? Is it a reward? Like, it's not a reward to eat like shit. Why would that be a reward? Well, if I lose 20 pounds, then I'm going to go to a buffet and pig out like a cow, and eat all the desserts and eat all the appetizers. What kind of reward is that? I mean, go buy yourself a nice watch or take a vacation. Or, for me, I'm going to the Philippines for 18 days. Like, go take care of yourself, like with something good. Like you did all this good. I'm down. Let's see what I'm down tomorrow. I'm going to say I'm down at least 25 pounds total by tomorrow, which is really, I'm talking from 270, but I was 315. So, one of my commenters said, looking thin in that black shirt, brother. It's just funny because he said it the other day too. And I actually thought of it when I put this black shirt on, because I got home and showered and I threw away my dirty clothes in the washing machine. And I was like, oh, here's a tight, it's kind of like the spandexy black shirt. It does hide, it kind of hides your jelly rolls. Look, I'll bounce it. Oh, you can still see it. Yeah, there's still a huge stomach there. When I got out of the shower today, I was looking in the mirror and I was like, I'm on the way down. I'm going in the right direction big time, but there is plenty to work with still. Because like I said, I was really tempted to just eat a little snack, even though I didn't even look, and I don't want to look, but I was like, there's probably something in the fridge I could grab to eat. And I haven't opened the fridge all week, so I don't even want to now. Well, Sunday was my first day of work. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, is it? Yeah. So I haven't opened the fridge in 3 days. Tomorrow's my last day of work. I'll be done. I'll be 96 hours in. And then I'll probably do what I did last time and just get on a delivery app and just order a bunch of groceries. And then, so they're at my door when I get home from work tomorrow. And that way you don't get, you get in the grocery store and you're there to buy healthy food. And then, you grab that bag of chips or that, whatever at the last second on your way out of going to the checkout. Seems to be that I don't do that when I order it online, because I'll be like, I'll add up all the calories, like, okay, 2 heads of lettuce and some mushrooms and some green peppers and some of this and that, everything I'm making my salad with and my salad dressing. Um, but when I'm at the store, especially when you're hungry because you haven't eaten in 96 hours, it's a little easier to get distracted and all this food that you weren't thinking about. I mean, they place the food, if you do any kind of market research. I know, if you're a college student or something, but like, you walk into a store and they have cameras on people and they've watched people for the last 50 years in America. What is there? You almost always, if you're right-handed, especially, you look to the right, like just above eye level. So what happens? You walk into one of your big superstores, you look to the right, and boom, there's the shelves full of shit on sale that you it's normally stuff that you wouldn't go there to buy. The stuff that you're going there to buy and that they know you're gonna buy, like, where's the toilet paper in a grocery store? Is it right inside the front door? Uh-uh. It's the farthest away, longest to get to corner away from the doors, because they know you're going to buy that. They don't even need to advertise it. You have to buy it, right? Your milk and eggs is as far back as it'll go. So they want you to have to go through the whole store and see all the other stuff. If you ever notice too, like, the name brand stuff is right shoulder high. The generic stuff is down on the bottom, so that you see it and you just grab it without looking down. But if you know that it's down there, you gotta, some people can't even bend down. So then, there's, 75-year-old woman in there with bad knees and hip replacement, and you can't even get the generic shit that she needs. So she just got to buy the one that's right there. They're dirty, they're shifty, but we're going to overcome that by, don't go down the aisles, go around the outside of the store. Hit the fruits and vegetables, hit the melons, hit the nuts and berries, the meat, Leviticus, the Bible, the Old Testament, Leviticus chapter 11, verse 7, tell you about, and then just keep reading. It tell you all the meat to eat and all the meat not to eat. It's all listed there. It's pretty easy. Eat fish with fins and scales. Eat ruminant meat, like cows and elk and deer and moose, and anything with a cloven hoof and 2 stomachs that chews the cud. If you see cows, that's chewing the cud. Those are the animals you can eat. It says right in the Word of God. He created you and he told you to eat that. So how confusing is that? That's pretty cut and dry. But it doesn't say overeat anything. The Bible. I brought up a lot, like the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, talking about, like, just not overindulging in anything. And it's like, well, yeah, that's as Christian as you can get. Jesus, God was even talking about, like in Psalms and Proverbs. Those are just great motivational. Like, instead of reading all these motivational books I've talked about, just read Psalms and Proverbs. Like, if you've never read the Bible, people always tell you to start off in Matthew, the New Testament. Read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Learn about Jesus and learn about him being crucified and raised from the dead, and dying for your sins and all that. But I think even before that, you just knock out Proverbs, man. It's awesome. It's just all kinds of just one-liner, little chapter, little paragraphs of words of wisdom and life lessons, and just amazing. So anyway, what are we doing? Oh my God, I babbled on a little longer than I thought I had it in me today, but sometimes you just got to do it. So I got through the day with my salt and pepper water. I got a good excuse to not go to the gym because I had to work a 14-hour shift, and I was shot to go anyway. I am so ready to eat right now. I'm just not going to do it because I'm going to suffer as a warrior, not as a victim, not as a wimp, not as a crybaby. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm suffering so bad. I'm telling you, I'm having challenges because I want the series to document how I'm feeling and what my mind is going through. But at the same time, I want to show you what I'm doing mentally and emotionally to get through it and not collapse, not cave in. Because what happens too when you set a goal? So my goal is to fast 96 hours this week. I knew I was going to fast from Saturday night. I ate my last meal, and I actually ate it pretty early. So by the time I get off work tomorrow, I'll already be at 96 hours, and then I'll have to get home and cook and get the food unpacked and cook something, and I'll be 97, 98 hours in by the time I actually eat. But what happens though, if let's say I collapsed after 48 hours or 72 hours, because you had the goal of 96 hours, it ends up having a really negative effect on your emotions and your mind, because you're like, Well, I wanted to fast 96 hours, but I failed and I ate after 72 hours. And then you end up not eating healthy like your plan was going to be. And it's happened to me so many times that I have just given up on failing. Like I am just not down with the failing anymore. I just recommend you fail as early and as often and as frequently as you can. Just keep failing and just do it every day. Just and then you say, well, Zach, how can you fail every day? Why aren't you failing every day now? Because you're not trying anything. Of course you're not failing because you're not trying. Try something. Go try run around a block. Try to fast for 24 hours. Try to skip breakfast. Oh my God, look at my tongue again. It's even whiter than yesterday. If you didn't see yesterday's video, I talked about how fasting it releases so much toxins out of your body through your breath as you exhale, which is how your body releases a lot of the spent energy and stuff. Like when you burn body fat, when you burn carbohydrates, it's actually coming out with your breath. With that, there's that moisture out of your breath. I mean, that's water leaving your body with other toxins being. And anyway, oh my God, it's even whiter than yesterday. It's crazy white. It almost looks like I got toothpaste on my tongue. I gotta go. I did it last night after the stream. I filled my mouth with peroxide and brushed my teeth and tongue and rinsed it out with water and then put more peroxide. Oh man, I can feel it now. I need to drink some water too. I got a little cotton choppy too. So all right, guys, thanks again to all the new subscribers. If you watch this video, please hit that like button. Helps the videos show up on the algorithms and show up on the imprints, on other fasting videos and other weight loss videos and other just jack dudes in tight black t-shirts. It'll show up on videos like that, but you got to hit that like button. You got to share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You guys are coming in late now. We got a couple new viewers at the 46-minute mark, but better late than never, right? You go back and watch it from the beginning. Hit that playlist and watch them all. Only one friend I have, girlfriend, said, "Oh, I just finished all your videos the other day." So she watched at the time, like 59 videos in that series, and this is episode 61. So they're starting to pile up, and maybe eventually I'll learn how to edit videos and make intros and make sexy thumbnails and everything. But I don't know. I think it's kind of a niche in my own little niche in the market is to just be me, just talk to you. I'm looking at my screen. I'm looking at my own face, but I'm talking because I know there's people out there, and I know you're there. I know you're listening. I know that some of these words, if I can take myself before I was quite as mentally strong as I am now and listen to my videos now, I know they would have helped me like 5 years ago, 4 years ago, well, they really would have helped me 12 years ago after my divorce because I went into a 2-year alcoholic binge, and I didn't lift my head off of the water for 2 solid years, and then I finally started slowing down the drinking, and then thankfully I got diabetes somewhere a few years after that, and I'd already slowed down the drinking and tried to lose weight, but then I'd ballooned back up, and anyway, the diabetes just saved my life, got me to quit drinking and lose a lot of weight. So speaking of that, the blood sugar and the pre-diabetes and the A1C and your blood sugar test, it's simple to it might help you if you're not going to go to the doctor and get your blood sugar checked to find out if you have diabetes, pre-diabetes. If you have a big chunky belly like this, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You're almost guaranteed to be at least pre-diabetic. And if your doctor hasn't said it, they should have. And you could ask then. If you have an appointment coming up and they do blood work, make sure you ask that you want your A1C done and make them be honest and make them tell you. Don't I just remember my doctor telling me that I was in the pre-diabetes range, but I don't remember her ever telling me exactly what it was, so I could go home and Google it and say, what kind of danger zone am I in? If you're not going to do any of that, then get on Amazon or whatever website and buy a blood glucose monitor. You prick your finger, you put the little thing on it, you stick it in the machine, and it tells you your blood sugar in like immediately, like 2 seconds, and You won't know what that means. Well, then Google it. What's your blood sugar? Like a fasting blood sugar is like first thing in the morning, or like you ate dinner at 7 o'clock last night, 6 o'clock last night, and then you're gonna check your blood sugar at like 7, 8 in the morning the next day. That's a fasting glucose test. That should be less than 100. And if it's not, you're pre-diabetic. So that's easy, right? And it might happen once and not again. So like you could do that every day. They're so cheap. A pack of 25 of them tests, pack of 50 of them tests are cheap. You could buy easily replace them and use them. Once you buy the little kit, then all you need to buy is those little strips, and you can buy those at the grocery store. Just about any grocery store has them in the medicine aisle to replace those strips to use for whatever monitor you buy. But what was I saying? Oh, so you could do it like 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Like test it before you eat breakfast every day. And if it's consistently over 100, especially if it's over 125, then you're like full blown diabetic. If it's 101, 102, I wouldn't worry about it. If it's 80 the next day, or if you want to eat a big meal or your normal meal, eat your normal meal, wait like 15 minutes and test it. Wait another 15 minutes and test it. And then you can Google it, because you're not going to remember everything I said anyway. But if you took, you tested your blood sugar at 3 o'clock and it was 80, which would be in the middle of a normal blood sugar, between 70 and like 99. Let's say it's 80 at 3 o'clock, and then you eat dinner at 5. So the baseline is that you were 80, and then you eat your steak, potatoes, vegetable, freaking sugary drink, and then you test your blood sugar 15 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes, hour, burn them up. You're testing it. You want to know where you want to know this is about your health. Is there some kind of financial gain that's going to be more valuable than your health? Like, don't worry about spending, if the little strip costs 15 cents, 20, 25 cents, they're not even that much, because the whole jar of them is like $20 at Walmart. And then you can Google, well, what would it be after, a dinner of, meat and potatoes and vegetables and a sugary drink, and it should not be over like 140, 150, because you're not diabetic, right? Your insulin responds to that food coming in before it even gets into your bloodstream. As soon as you start chewing, your body starts releasing insulin, which is why you don't want to chew gum ever. So your body starts chewing, your healthy non-diabetic body starts releasing insulin. That food gets into your stomach. It starts pumping that sugar out in your bloodstream. That insulin grabs the sugar, brings it to your liver. When your liver's full, it fills all your muscles up, fills your liver up, and you're all energized and ready to go. You check your blood sugar 2 hours later, and it's back to 80. Then you're normal. Then you don't have diabetes. You don't have pre-diabetes. But even better than doing all that, a little more expensive, but it's better, and that's why it's more expensive and quicker, because you can do it all at once, is just get on Amazon. And I'm going to just pull it up real quick, because I bought these kits a couple times before. Okay, I'm on Amazon on the search, and I'm just going to look up A1C test kit. First thing that came up. Accu-Check. Not that one. Here's the one I bought. A1C Now. So this one has 20 tests in it for $200, but you only need to do this you only need to do this once, or twice a year. So you could just buy the one for like $50 and just do it once. I think I don't see the one I bought here. It normally says you bought this one. But I buy the 3 kit, the 3 test one. I don't remember how much it was. I'm just by looking here, it looks like they're a little more than they used to be, but plus monitor plus 10 tests. Well, here's one, A1C Now Plus with 10 tests for $143. So that's a sweet deal. I might even buy that, because I only have 1 test left in my kit. But I bought this kit like a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years. I don't even know. A while ago. I just had tested, if I'm gaining weight, I know I'm not doing good. If I'm losing weight, I knew I'm, what I mean? Like I've had diabetes, or I had diabetes since, I probably had it towards the end of 2015, but I didn't actually get diagnosed until January 23rd, 2016. And then by April of that same year, I was 245. I was 315 January 1st, and April Fool's Day, I was 245. So I had bombed the weight down, and it was very similar to the same thing I'm doing now. Um, no, that time it wasn't. That time I did like just whole foods and walking, tons of walking. And I did no fasting. That wasn't that time. That was a different time I did it. I lost a bunch of weight like this. I just did meat, vegetables, very little fruit, nuts, berries, very little nuts, very little berries. Well, some berries are lower in carbs, like strawberries. I knew you could eat a whole pint of strawberries for like um, 75 calories. You know, that whole thing it comes in, you can just eat that whole thing, 10 times and you'll still be under, or 5 times and you'll still be under a 400 calorie meal. And you'd be stuffed with just packed full of B17 is in strawberries. It's one of the healthiest vitamins you can eat. It's in almost every berry that has the seeds on the outside of it. It's a sign of a super healthy thing. Like I'm not a big fan of raspberries. I can eat them, but like throwing raspberry flavor in something is bomb. It's awesome. But then eating plain strawberries for some reason I'm not as a big a fan. I'm trying to think of other berries that have the seeds on the outside. Blackberries, boysenberries, strawberries. But strawberries are just bomb. I eat them all the time. So yeah, getting that A1C kit, and let's say, like I tell you, I got diabetes and I weighed, 75 pounds less like 3 months later because I was so in shock. Like Zach, you're gonna die. You got to do something. Diabetes is a deadly disease that attacks every cell of your body. The sugar literally attacks every single cell in your living organisms, from your skin to your organs to your feet to your head to everywhere. Where other diseases are more focused. So it's important to really handle it and get it in check immediately. Get it in check before you have it. How about that? That'd be a main talking point of the video series here. You want to be healthy, like let's just not get that unhealthy then. But if you buy that A1C test kit, read the instructions in it. It can be a little messed up. You could mess it up and lose your money because it's I did it one time where I figured out how to do it before I ever did it. I watched the YouTube videos because it's like a little container and a little vial and a little sticker, and you got to poke the blood and then soak it up with this thing and then stick it in this thing and let it sit there and then shake it up and put it in this other thing. Well, I did all that right. And then it gives you a little timer and it counts down the timer to give you the results. And then it just pops up the results. And then, well, first it'll say like if the test was valid, did everything go right? And it'll be like, okay, check, you did everything right. Here comes your results. And then your results will come up in like a normal A1C. Like I said, it'll be like under 5.7. So 5.6 is normal, and anything below, like as low as you can get. I don't know what hypoglycemic is at, because I'm combating to not get diabetic. I'm not so worried about hypoglycemia where you have too low a blood sugar, but I'm going to guess under 4, maybe under 3.5, somewhere in there. 3.5 is too low of blood sugar. And if you're watching this video series, if you subscribe through one of the commercials, it's not because we're too skinny, right? That's not why we're here. So, and over 5.7 up to 6.3 or 4 is pre-diabetes. Maybe it's even lower at 6.2, somewhere in there, pre-diabetes. Let's just say it's 6.4, and then over 6.5 A1C is full-blown diabetes. So that could be, okay, then go to the doctor and get it checked for real, get your blood work done, talk to a doctor, let him prescribe you the pills and the shots, and then bring the pills home and read the paperwork they give you. The first line says this medication causes ketoacidosis of the stomach and can cause death. So the first medication that the doctor is going to give you to cure your diabetes can cause death, and does in some people. Is it 1 in 1,000? Is it 1 in 10,000? I didn't care. I saw that first line and there's no way I'm taking that when I know it can be cured naturally, because I'd already read about it for 20 years before I got diabetes. Thankfully, maybe not 20, for 10 years before I got diabetes, I knew how to cure it. So 3 months later, and really it's a dietary disease. You quit eating sugar, you quit eating processed carbohydrates, and it's gone. Your diabetes is gone in like 1 week. I tested my blood sugar 10 days after it was 320, and then 10 days later it was 70. You know what I mean? Like not 6 months later, not on medications and shots and pills. 10 days later, my blood sugar was 70. The bottom edge was normal. 69 would be too low of blood sugar. and your blood sugar goes below 70 and back up. And if you're normal, if you don't have diabetes, but get it down there. That's a big, it's like having a goal, like of all these goals I've set, 218. And the biggest goal I have written down is on my planner here. And right in the front, it has, some goal listing. And I got my 230, 220, 190, 180, 170 to check it off as I get it this year. Cause I'm going to get the 230 and the 220 and the 200 this year for sure. Maybe even the 190. And then we'll keep driving away to the 180, 170, 160. I think my new goal is maybe even down to 155. I mean, I'm only 5'8", so it's not like I'm a 6'2" dude. I'm a more compact package. Run a 5K, which I'm going to do in 8 weeks. I'll check that one off. I'm going to do it on a treadmill. I downloaded the Couch to 5K app. I downloaded is a treadmill training app. So it wasn't in it because it's freezing cold and all shitty roads in Minnesota right now. So I'm gonna check that off that I ran a 5K, and then I'm gonna run real 5Ks in the spring when it gets nice. I'm gonna run a 10K shortly after that. If you can run a 5K, you're very close to being able to run a 10K anyway. If you can run the whole 3.12 miles without stopping, you're only a month away from being able to run a 10K because it's just a little more training, a little longer runs. It's nothing to it. And then, you're only doubling that to run a half marathon. You're within, if you can run a 10K, you're within 2.5 months of running a half marathon. The same thing, just stepping up your game and just making those training runs a little longer. And so I open this up to show you something. A1C below 5. That is like, I haven't set a date on that, but maybe I will after we see what my A1C is on April 1st. We'll weigh in on April 1st. It'll be the end of this video series. And then the next video series, it'll be about whatever. It'll still be part of the Healthy, Wealthy, Happy series of videos, but it won't be the Healthy, Wealthy, Happy series itself. That's this one. It's just the kickoff series of the channel, and mostly talking about physical health, almost exclusively talking about physical health. I brought up the Bible verses about how, because the Bible almost nowhere says to take care of your flesh outside of it always equates it to your mental health, as you believe you'll receive, as you treat your body like it's filled with the Holy Spirit. It's like a mental condition, that it's a healthy state of mind that gives you a healthy state of physicality. So, and then all the positive motivational quotes I've used, none of them have said hey, eat keto every day and you're going to be ripped in a year. Is that true? Yes, of course that's true. That is true. I mean, if you eat super low keto, I don't know about the long-term effects of keto yet, but the ketogenic diet, which, keto, you know what it means, ketogenic? It's just talking about that you're in ketosis. It's not how they started calling that was just a big marketing scam. I mean, the Dr. Atkins that wrote the diet, the Atkins diet 20, 30, 40 years ago, whatever it was around when I was a kid. He talked about in that book that being on that diet puts your body in ketosis. And then somebody just found it and it's like, oh, let's keep ketogenic. They would make a whole keto diet over it. It already was around for hundreds of years. They already knew to not eat processed junk, but they didn't have it. They had a big advantage. But when they started making it, they knew that it wasn't the right thing to eat. So, but my point about that was that that's not what this channel is really about. This channel is more about the mental state and the mental health and the self-love. And like I said, if you don't like that term, you don't like that terminology, that self-care, it kind of irritates me too. Maybe just because of the warrior in me is wants to think of it as more of but then think of it as self-respect. I've never heard somebody say self-respect is a negative term, and self-help and self-care is not negative terms either. I'm just saying, I understand the way it can come across to some, probably more guys than women. Women seem to embrace that type of terminology a little more than men do, but it's all good. Let's have self-love. Let's have self-care. Let's also love Jesus Christ above ourselves. Let's not place ourselves above everything, but make ourselves very important. in the 12 rules for life, one of the there's 12 rules, and then of course there's a whole chapter talking about the particular individual rules and what they all mean. And but anyway, I can't remember what particular rule it is, but it's one of the rules, and it's talking about explaining it, and it's like treat yourself like someone you care about. And that might even be the almost close to the wording of the actual rule. And it seems obvious when you just say it, but start paying attention to the way you treat yourself. Even the way you're so negative on social media, like that is not healthy for you. That's not good for you. Coming home and putting a 200 word gripe on social media about how you're mad at the guy that cut you off in traffic. Like, this is not sounding like a mentally healthy person that would do that. Like, I get cut off in traffic and I have a hard time noticing. I don't even care in any way. I've had cars zooming around me, flipping me off, and I wasn't even sure why. Like, I'm not any kind of full of anger driving around just road raging. I mean, how unhappy are them people? They got to be just living in misery. All right, guys. I somehow managed to yak out a nice long video again. All right, well then you know what I'm gonna say. God, I need to get I am just filming on a laptop, and it's not even a good one. It's like a cheap. I don't even think this thing costs more than $500-600, but it's good enough. It's getting the job done for now. Jump on board with Jesus. He is the winning team. He defeated our enemies. He defeated Satan. Satan's getting thrown in the lake of fire at the end of the 1,000-year millennium, as spoken of in the book of Ezekiel and the book of Revelation. And if you're on Jesus's team, you're on the winning team. You're a winner. Confess your sins before Christ, and Christ will confess you before the Father. Tell your friends that you have given your life to Christ, and it's a simple matter of changing the paradigm in your mind that, you know what, maybe this whole universe isn't just some ridiculous accident, and that's actually there's an entity that's in all powerful and all created all of this. If you've been to college for physics, or even just buy a physics book, buy Physics 101. Everything is vibrations of light. Everything. This, everything. So it's not hard for me to believe that God created it all, because it's all the same thing. It's just vibrations of light. And Jesus is the light. So let's get on board with Jesus. Why? Because he loves you. I love you. And I'm going to catch up with you guys again tomorrow night. Good night.